guys, it's Sarah at carnivore.yogi on Instagram. Thank you so much for coming on to my YouTube page. Please hit subscribe while you're here and remember to like this video. So today I'm going to talk all about why I think a lot of people fail at the carnivore diet, why it becomes really hard and they give up a little too easily or too quickly. And this is not just like little things. These are big things that people deal with. And I have been through each and every one of these things that I'm going to talk to you guys about. I'm going to tell you how I worked through them. And I'm so glad that I didn't give up. You can see some of my other videos and see some of the serious health issues that I have overcome by eating this way. So hopefully this video offers you some value, especially if you are struggling right now with any of these issues. So the first thing, and I do have a list that I have written down here, so those of you who want to comment and say I'm not looking at the camera, it is literally because I have a list written down. I don't want to forget anything because I think it's important. So the first thing that I see a lot of people struggle with, especially women, is that they don't lose weight fast enough, or they even gain a little bit of weight. And there are several reasons why this is happening. So number one, if you're closer to your ideal body weight within 15 pounds or so, or even 10 pounds, maybe even 20 pounds, you are probably going to have an uptick in bone mass and blood volume. Those things are going to change, as well as lean body mass, because you are probably more than likely under-proteined, and you are on this way of eating adding a lot of protein to your diet, which is going to increase your lean body mass, which is a good thing. We want more muscle, we want more lean body mass, because that is going to help to boost the metabolism. It's a signal of longevity. There are so many great things about upping your lean body mass. So stay off the scale, like really do stay off the scale, I think, in the very beginning, especially if you don't really have a ton of weight to lose. The second thing is maybe you were malnourished. And I dealt with this. I have dieted and dieted and dieted pretty much since I was a child. My parents took me to Weight Watchers, and I know they were just doing the best that they could, but they took me to Weight Watchers as a kid because I had a weight problem already. So I have been dieting my whole life, and the last 10 years especially, as a struggle to keep off the last time I lost 100 pounds. I have tried everything, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, master cleanse, cabbage soup, name it. I've tried it all. And so when I came to this way of eating, my body did not trust me. My body, first of all, it didn't have the nutrients that it needed. I was eating a lot of plants, which for me, I don't methylate those. I don't detox those anti-nutrients very well. And so I was malnourished. I was vitamin deficient. And so my body was like getting all this nutrition and wanting to just hang on to it. So that's one. You're probably, even if you are, maybe not at the weight that you want to be, you might be a little malnourished. And this is very, very common, that under-proteined, undernourished. So when your body, again, gets that satiating meat that has all those nutrients in it, and yes, meat does have all of the essential nutrients that you need in it, your body might hang on to a little bit of weight. And for me, my body has not necessarily trusted me because I, again, dieted, and it was like, okay, we've got food, we have to hang on to this. So some people just have to be patient and kind of get through maybe a few months or maybe even longer of actually nourishing your body, getting your body to trust you. Next thing is, if you're gaining weight, you might be eating too much dairy, or just dairy in general might be an issue for you. Now, I have just recently, over the last month, transitioned to not eating dairy, no cheese, no cream, none of it, and I have experienced a lot of inflammation that has gone down. I have lost a lot of inches. You can go back to some of my other videos. My most recent one was 30 days of meat and water only, where I talk about how many inches. I think I lost about 12 or 13 inches literally in a month from just eliminating dairy. So if you're not losing weight, cut the cheese, literally. Cut it out. Cut out the cheese, cut out the cream. Just eat a lot of meat. So that's another tip if you are not losing that weight, okay? So the next thing that I see people come across is detox symptoms. So you feel tired, you feel lethargic, you're exhausted. Number one, think about somebody who is an alcoholic who is coming off of alcohol. They are going through withdrawal. They don't want to be out in public. They don't want to be around people. Their whole body hurts. Think about a drug addict, a heroin addict withdrawing. Some people die from detox. That is why they have detox centers. So if you come from this way of eating, especially from a standard American diet, the way that I did, so I didn't even do keto. I just jumped right from standard American diet straight to carnivore. So my detox was not a fun time. Luckily, I did have a functional medicine doctor that I was working with. She had already been carnivore for 5 or 6 months. And so I was able to just message her, hey, I'm going through this. I'm feeling exhausted. I can't work out. What's wrong with me? Oh, it's detox. It's detox. You're heavily addicted to sugar, processed foods. And then even if you've been having some carbohydrate, if you've been following keto and you have 20 grams of carbs or less, or you're doing the net carb thing, your body is going to go through even more detox. You may even be going through some oxalate dumping. So all plants contain oxalate, and these can build up in our blood. So if you haven't looked into oxalate dumping, I'm not going to go into super depth about this, but you're going to want to look up Dr. Sally Norton. Actually, I'm not sure she's a doctor. I think she's more of a nutrition expert. But look up Sally Norton, Sally K. Norton, in fact. She will give you a host of information on oxalate. She's been on a million podcasts, and she's kind of the authority on this. But oxalate dumping is painful, and it is different for everyone. So for me, when I had oxalate dumping, I got rashes on my body. I had kind of these like crystals coming out of my eyes. I felt horrible. I felt sick, and it was oxalate dumping. So my functional medicine doctor actually recommended I take a binder. If you go below in the link, I have a list of all my carnivore favorite things, and that binder is on that list. So there's a link. I will put it below this video. If you're getting oxalate dumping, I recommend a binder, and then just to hang in with it. So those detox symptoms, again, you have probably been eating things that your body is physically addicted to. The other thing is maybe not getting enough salt. I recommend Redmond salt. There are other electrolyte mixes that you can also get if you Google snake juice. That is one that you can just mix up yourself, and make sure you're getting those electrolytes, okay? So the next thing is that you're still having cravings, and those cravings are driving you crazy, so you end up giving in to the cravings. That's going to perpetuate this whole sugar and addiction cycle. So how do we get through cravings? Okay, number one, if you're still having sweeteners, like a little bit of stevia in your coffee or gum or anything that's signaling the brain of those sweet chemicals, you're going to continue to have cravings. So, and I know it's hard, you guys. I know that sweeteners sometimes are going to be a bridge to help you get rid of that sugar addiction, but the quicker you can get off of all those sweeteners, the better. Because again, it's going to keep triggering that part of your brain that says we need sweet, we need sugar, we need to, fuel this. So get rid of those sweeteners. The other thing is that dairy can actually trigger cravings. It has for me, and I'm just very sensitive, which can be a good thing. I don't want to think it's a negative thing that I'm sensitive, but for me, when I was still eating yogurt and cheese, I was more hungry because it does kind of up your satiety. I mean, it kind of messes with those satiety signals. So dairy, cheese, that stuff can kind of mess with it so that you are still feeling hungry, you're still having cravings. So if you've cut out the sweeteners already, and you are still having some dairy and you're still experiencing cravings and it's driving you crazy, I'm just going to recommend getting rid of that because that's no fun. And the coolest thing for me about carnivore is that I have gotten rid of all those sweet cravings. Now, emotionally, I still go places. I go to parties and I'm around people, and I can only be around that stuff for so long before it starts kind of getting to me, getting in my head and driving me a little crazy. So I don't recommend going around all that stuff and exposing it to, yourself to it constantly, but just don't put it in your body. Just do not put it in your body, because if you do, you're going to perpetuate those cravings. And for me, the way I've gotten rid of my cravings is I just eat more. So I eat bacon. I'll have like 8 pieces of bacon, as long as it's sugar-free, uncured. I have a brand that I buy, Nature's Rancher. It's really good. That has helped me get rid of the cravings, or just eating more meat, eating more fatty, satisfying meat with plenty of Redmond salt on it. That has helped me get rid of cravings. And, I think that that's a big thing for people, especially women, when it's that time of the month. And I have a whole video about PMS and how to overcome that if you look back in some of my other videos, because that was always a really hard time of the month for me. Okay, the last thing that I have on here is kind of a loaded one, and making it too complicated. You're making the carnivore diet too complicated. Number one, you're like, okay, I have to eat all these organ meats, I have to eat grass-fed, I have to eat, and that's, trust me, I see a lot of value in those things. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying don't make it if I don't do this, then I'm not doing the diet correctly. Just eat the meat that you can afford and that you like. You know, if at some point you want to move to grass-fed and adding in those organ meats, if you feel that you need them, do it. But there are tons of long-term carnivores, some with, 10 plus years, who don't eat organ meats. They don't eat those things, and they are perfectly healthy. I'm going to try to get some of them on my YouTube channel. Comment below if you'd like to see that. But I see them absolutely thriving without adding those things in, or even eating the grass-fed, which I do eat grass-fed. I'm a proponent of it, but long story short, don't make it like that's my bottom line. Also making it too complicated, fasting and tracking. So I see, and I'm going to do more videos on fasting. Don't try to intermittent fast. Don't try to, just do what comes naturally. If you're not hungry till noon, don't eat till noon. But don't wake up and say, today I'm not going to eat till noon. Intermittent fasting is great, and there are tons and tons and tons of benefits. But if you're a dieter like me, somebody who's chronically dieted, starved themselves, your body doesn't necessarily trust you. And you may have some hormonal issues. You may have adrenal fatigue, cortisol regulation issues, low progesterone, low testosterone, all of those things. And the fasting is going to make that stuff worse. It's going to make your body not trust you. It's going to make your body hang on to extra weight, and you're going to feel like crap. So don't force the fasting, and don't track. If you're just eating meat, trust your body to regulate that. Don't go eat 10 pounds of meat or anything like that. But for me, when I just trust myself, I have a relaxed attitude, and I allow myself to just eat meat when I'm hungry, I really don't overeat. I don't sit there and eat 6 pounds of meat. I will eat some days 3 pounds of meat because I'm hungry, and guess what? I don't gain weight. The month now, I have done 30 days of just meat. That has been the most freeing month of my life because I have lost inches in inflammation, and I have just let myself eat when I'm hungry. I'm just eating meat, and it feels so good. So I really want you guys to be able to experience the benefits of this way of eating. It's helped me so much. I'm going to keep on producing more and more content. Always feel free to comment below if there is another video or something you want me to put content out on. Stay tuned, subscribe. I'll have more interviews coming up. I'm going to continue doing a weekly kind of vlog, video blog about my experience every single Friday. I'll be putting that out. And I'm getting a continuous glucose monitor as well. It hasn't come yet. I was hoping it was going to be here this week. It's not going to be here until next week on Monday. So probably after Christmas, if you're watching this the day it came out, after Christmas, and I'm in 2019 here, I'm going to start recording my CGM data to show you guys how that works. So again, I really hope this was helpful. If you're struggling with any of those things, send a comment below. I try to look through all my comments and respond as I can to them. So I really want to be a good resource for you guys. Thank you again for tuning in. If this was helpful, take a screenshot, tag me on Instagram at carnivore.yogi, give me a shout out, and share it with someone. So thanks again for tuning in, and have a really amazing rest of your day. Thank you.